Welcome everyone to episode 55 of the draft. Feels good to be back. I had to miss last week, had my son's concert, but now I'm ready to rock and roll with my dudes. And we have a special guest tonight. So we were talking about the Great American Getaway 400 at Pocono. And we have Nick Giffen, draft debut from the Action Network, on here tonight to draft away with us. We've gotten beat. Have we gotten beat by the majority of guest fellas? I think we have. So I don't know, Nick. We're coming for it tonight, but I wanted to introduce you quick. Most people in the NASCAR community have, read your material, followed you for years, like I have. Big fan of all your work, but please tell them where they can find your work. We'll do that to start this show tonight. And I know you got a lot of World Cup stuff coming on too, and a lot of people that tune into this like to play some wagers on that as well. So if you want to drop some stuff on that as well, that'd be great.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. It's been a long time coming. I know we've talked about it for years, so finally good to be here. But yeah, Nick Giffen of the Action Network. That's where you can find all my stuff, actionnetwork.com. Also in the Action Network app. It's free to download. All my bets are tracked in there for free. You don't need to pay for it. You can just go over to my profile, Nick_Giffen, in the Action Network app, and head over there and see what I've bet for NASCAR. So yeah, that's where all my stuff is. And on the weekends, you can find my practice flags metric, which I love doing. Flags is what I'll be referring to a lot on here. So we'll get it out of the way real quick. It stands for field level adjusted green speed. And it's perfect for NASCAR, right? Because it's flags. You got different flags. But that's basically my metric of true speed. It adjusts for things like tire wear, traffic, healthy car, right? You're not going to use a damaged car and count those as green flag speed. I think that's one of the problems, like with NASCAR data that NASCAR media puts out. Green flag speed. Well, the dude was wrecked halfway through the race, and the latter half of his laps are 5 miles an hour slower, but that counts as green flag speed. So I found a way to get rid of that data and come up with my own system.
Yeah, it's awesome. And that's Greg and I have, we try to do it as well. And then the first thing we do, we head right back in, we DM each other in Discord, and we say, where's Nick got this guy in flags? Where do we have him? And we start comparing it and see who we know or who we think we know will be fast for the weekend. Great stuff. I always recommend, even if you're on Win the Race, go sign up for Action Pro. You got to go look at the flag stuff, and everything you write to your articles on Fantasy Labs that come out for NASCAR each week too are gems. So good stuff there. And then we're joined as Phil, Tino, our usual suspects in the draft here. Guys, you did great in my absence last week. Brian did great filling in. So, Brian, if you're listening, thank you very much for doing that. I appreciate it. Phil, I'll kick it to you. We'll do just a quick recap of what you thought of the race last week. I thought the actual racing itself was good. I didn't like, and I know it's got people up in arms on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. I don't like races that have over 27% of the race under caution. It's just my own thing. But when they were racing, I thought the racing was good. I just wanted longer green flag runs. I hope we get that this week. Eric Jones, I thought, was wicked fun to watch. I mean, that dude on the long run was fast last week. Phil, what'd you think of the race?
Yeah, my Michigan race experience was interesting because I was planning on not watching it until I got back from my daughter's recital, which was all damn day. But I couldn't resist checking the situation because you guys were just lighting up the group chat, and I had to check out, at least through the NASCAR app, what was going on. And so I had a little preconceived notions going in when I went to rewatch the race. And I feel similar to you, Ryan, that, the racing at Michigan when they were under green, I thought it was what you want. Like, it's pretty damn good. I like when the racetrack itself causes issues, right? They have to get humbled a little bit by the aero situations, guys just spinning on their own. They got to get used to it and figure that part out. Obviously hate some of the wrecks. Elliott's wreck, crazy. That sucked. We don't like seeing that. Nothing you can really do about that. And then the other stuff, it just kind of learning experiences for some folks out there. So I don't think Michigan is at fault for 27% of the race being under caution. I think that's more so NASCAR needs to figure out what to do about cautions in general. And that's always going to be a problem. So, but overall, I thought it was, pretty decent racing.
Pino, what about you?
Agree with everything you guys are saying, because The racing was good when it was happening. Ryan, I agree with you and stick up for you. No one should be coming at my boy for not wanting to see caution laps. That's crazy because the caution laps aren't fun. Neither are the cautions, but it did make for some interesting plays. We saw Reddick have fast car, Gibbs, those drivers up there, Elliott and Bell. Unfortunate that those guys got taken out, but then to see Denny Hamlin and a masterclass at that by him to go from the front to the back to the front again 2 weeks in a row. And then, if you guys don't remember, I came at Phil. We had a little beef in the last week's episode, if you want to call it that, Bell versus Hamlin. I tried to come at the king and I missed. So that's on me. I thought maybe if Bell doesn't get in that wreck, I could have been singing very, very loud in this show, but it doesn't matter because it doesn't happen and Phil remains the king. So I wanted to hand up. That's on me. Didn't work. I said too, don't fade Denny, but I'm going to try. And it didn't work out.
Yeah. And Nick, what'd you think of the racing last week?
I thought it was, like you said, fantastic racing under green, a lot of yellow. But I thought it was amazing racing. I thought it was really cool that tires mattered. We saw Busher, I think it was McDowell. They took 2 tires and they went straight backward. We saw Byron at the end do 2 tires. He went straight backward. So, tires starting to matter at Michigan, I thought was kind of an interesting thing. And hoping our boy Connor Zilch gets it together. He had a rough outing, 2 crashes in the first 10 laps of his own doing, got loose both times. When that car isn't handling right, he probably just needs to drive within the car. And I think he learned that lesson this past weekend. And I think actually that's going to make him better for it.
Yeah. I think, and we'll get to Trackhouse when we're doing the draft here. We can talk about all 3 of those guys. And because, what's funny is before the year, we're like, man, we got to get rid of a couple teams. We want to keep the show around an hour long. And, what team should we keep? And like Trackhouse, we've got to keep Trackhouse to be so exciting. They'll be so exciting. And now we get to these tracks and we're like, like you could pick any 3 of these guys and get it right. So it's just interesting that they're the team now where we're like, man, I don't want to have to lose them for next year's show. We'll find a way to keep it, but man, it's been rough go at it. The good news about the tires, I think they're bringing the same right side that we saw last week. Hopefully we can see some more of that this week where, I think last year's race, we had 2 tire stops and strategy like that. I enjoy races where you need to go get 4 if you want to be the fastest car. So hopefully we see a lot of that. All right. And we got to give Phil, boom, back on the board, baby. That's a good win, Phil.
Yeah, it feels good. It feels really good.
You'll have to give me, send me the charity you want to donate to after the show and we'll send it over. But it was good to see you on the board. And I think now I'll pull this up. We are, 6 wins for me, 5 for Tino, 4 for Phil. So it's tightening up here. Awesome. Love to see it. I'm going to just leave it with you, Phil. We'll go right into a quick race preview of what everyone can expect at Pocono. And then we'll just jump right into the draft.
Yeah, sure thing. We'll talk about Pocono here for a second. This is a 2.5 mile flat triangular track. The Tricky Triangle is what they call it. And this is my home track in my neck of the woods in the Philadelphia area. So I'm pumped to see Pocono on TV. Won't be there this year, but it's a longer story. It's got the longest straightaway in NASCAR. It's longer than some airport runways in the country. So pretty cool to see these guys just diving full blast down into turn 1. These races have been in the past a bit of a fuel mileage race, guys running out, getting on different strategies. Heard people talk about it being set up like a road course strategy. So not sure if that still plays out the same way these days, but we'll see. Keep that in mind. People most likely will be on different situations. Stages in this Great American Getaway 400, 30 in stage 1, 65 in stage 2, and 65 in stage 3 for a total of 160 laps. Practice and qualifying start at 1 p.m. on Saturday afternoon, and the race is a little bit after 3 p.m. on Sunday. You mentioned a little bit of conversation with the tires, so the good near notes here. Right sides, they ran last year with the construction that they used on some of the intermediates this year, according to Jayski, and then the left sides are new to Pocono, but they used them at Charlotte, Nashville, and Michigan a week ago. So the teams should be in the know, but it'll be interesting to see how Pocono takes it. And then just some quick hitter track stats. Starting position matters here. The winner started on the pole 16 times out of 92 races unofficially. Last time it happened was Denny Hamlin in 2022, but officially it happened in 2017. Top 5 winners started there 54% of the time, and all of the next gen winners have started inside the top 10. It's a 70% clip for the lifespan of the racetrack. And Toyota's been dominant this year and at last decade here at Pocono. 9 out of the 13 wins were won by Toyota. So only one win for Ford and one real win for Chevy since 2020. So a lot going on there for Toyota. And I mentioned the unofficial win because if you're trying to do your stats and pull some stuff, some sites have Denny winning in 2020 as the first car that passed the stripe, and others have them sent to the back, finishing like 35th at ZQ. So keep that in mind. It could mess up some of your metrics, but just make sure you remember that one.
Yeah, Greg and I didn't know how to handle that. I think we're one of the sites that has him winning, even though I guess we could put him back there and, you could just look at his average running position and all that stuff and know. But yeah, I believe Win the Race is one of the sites that has him winning still.
It is. Yeah. And I have to weigh in on this. I don't have to, but for those who didn't ask, I like it that way because it's how they cross the stripe. And it's not something that was like a lingering penalty. Like, it doesn't remind me of like Ty Majeski and the trucks a few years ago where like their penalty was so egregious, like what they were doing in the car, that like you can't trust any of the finishes. It was a one-time deal, and I don't even remember what it was. So I like looking back and seeing who actually crossed the stripe.
Awesome. All right. If you're new to the draft, we're going to draft one driver each from the 8 teams you see on the top, and then one driver we haven't drafted yet that can be from any team, even if they're not listed on the top here. And that driver will earn 1.25x their points in the draft. We are going to start with the 2311 team. I love both these guys this week, so I'm curious to see where you guys are going to go here. I think you can make arguments for both. Tino, I'm going to kick it off with you this week. 2311 Toyota. Who you got?
All right, feeling a little bit of a pressure point now because got to win again. Can't remember the last time I won the draft. That's my favorite thing to do, so I'm hoping to do so. Tricky triangle, tricky Tino triangle. It starts off hot with Bubba Wallace for me this weekend. I think my favorite part, as we'll talk more a little bit about his stats in a second, is I always share with you guys what I'm thinking, talk in our chat, share it with the community. This show is a perfect, example of doing so in terms of guys were thinking who's going to win the race, bets, whatnot. But I really wanted to keep a little bit to myself. I was like, all right, before I get on the show, I want to be a little bit of a competitor. I don't want to spoil any surprises. Ryan says, check the chat in the Discord for all my picks. And he's right on the money with everything I was thinking. Bubba Wallace in this one. In the last 5 races at Pocono, 4 top 11 finishes. The biggest thing to me is going to be the fact that he had a great finish last weekend at Michigan. So not only the speed coming from that track, but the qualifying position. Phil mentioned it. All guys who start inside the top 10 have won this race. This is going to be a track where it's hard to pass. Track position is going to matter probably more than any other track that we've seen, at least recently in the Cup Series this far this season. So to me, I think Bubba has a chance to win it based off of his 2311 speed. Not sure if he will. I want to also say this. I think Reddick, based off the strategy and the wins he has thus far, can do something late in this race to get the win, but Bubba will eventually build up more points throughout this race due to hopefully a better starting spot than the 45.
All right, cool. I love that. So at least one of us is on Bubba here because I have the Bubba 30-1 bet I'm sitting on to start the week. But we all know winning the draft is more important than money. So I'm going to go with Tyler Reddick here. And not that I don't like Bubba. I thought about, I won't even talk about a bonus pick, but Reddick, runner up here in 23, 6th place in 2024. They had the brake and like rotor failures last year, I believe, in the race that kind of derailed that for 2311. But this year, you talk about the 1.5s and longer. Wasn't great at Vegas. Maybe he was just sick of winning races by that point to start the year. 4th at Texas, 1st at Kansas, 4th at Charlotte, contender at Michigan last week until getting wrecked out. Dude's just insanely fast. And what I noticed, what was weird, like I'll mention guys going out late in qualifying because that's been a thing. But like last year's qualifying, I don't know if it's just because like the wind or what it is, but like some guys that went out a little earlier actually qualified pretty well. So I don't know if you just catch like a lucky break of when you're on this huge track or what goes on, but I don't know. I think Reddick, even if he qualified mid-pack or something, I'm not worried about him and the speed this car brings every week. I think he can come up through the field. So give me Tyler Reddick here. I'm glad we're split to start. Nick, I'll kick it to you. What do you got here for 23-11?
Yeah, I just had one thing to say. You said you can go with both of them, but there's 3 cars in this team, right? So,
Oh yeah.
I mean, don't
sometimes I'm a little rude.
discount Riley Herbst. I mean, he was
I don't-
running inside the top 10. He had I don't know if it was a bad pit stop or some bad strategy that sent him back in Michigan, but he was running in the top 10 for most of the day. But I'm not going with Riley Herbst. I was just teasing a little there. But
Old habits. I got to break him because he does deserve some flowers here. He has been fast lately, and it's been a great improvement. So
absolutely,
that's an old habit of the show, I guess.
So I am going to go Tyler Reddick. And look, qualifying this weekend is 2:10 Eastern time. It's right in the heat of the day. It's not really going to like cool off. If anything, it might heat up. So I think qualifying order isn't going to matter as much here because especially with these long straightaways, like it's all about making horsepower. And these Toyotas, they make horsepower. They have great aerodynamics. And for me, it's based off speed. Tyler Reddick, the last 2 years at Pocono in speed, 8th in flags and 9th in flags. Whereas Bubba Wallace in speed, 23rd and 28th in adjusted flags at Pocono. Now, yes, he did come through the field both times, but my model accounts for the traffic and all that. So if you get held up, my model is able to account for the time adjustment of the laps based off the speed differential of the car in front of you when you're catching him. So, I'm just going to go with the car that's been faster the last 2 years. I like looking at the last 2 years in particular because that's when we got the new Toyota, the new Ford bodies. So give me Tyler Reddick here.
Some stuff. Phil, what do you got here?
Yeah, we'll put Tino on an island here to start the show and make it interesting for him. Yeah, I don't know what that means for maybe the bonus pick for him. I don't know, but we'll see. All those things that you guys mentioned, Reddick with the speed, Reddick with the season, Reddick with good stats at Pocono. It's everything that I'm looking for. So if I just want to make a last point about it, Bubba, in his 4 starts at Pocono in the next gen car, like he has had 2 races where he's had some decent qualifying spots, 7th and 10th. And, it seems like his ceiling is 10th place, like, or maybe 8th, and I just find it hard to believe that Reddick can't get in front of that. So like, even if Bubba does what we hope, right, as gamblers, if you're taking Bubba for a top 10 or something like that, I don't hate that at all. But I would imagine the ceiling for Reddick is better than that. So Bubba kind of has to have a perfect day, is what I'm getting at. And we'll see. I don't think it is impossible, but I'll take the easy pick here and just ride with the other guys.
Yeah, I mean, just look at this season. Like Reddick has made his ceiling abundantly clear as he leads in the points and has like 5 or 6 wins, whereas Bubba does not have that. So, and Reddick's cool too because he does it on every different type of track. I mean, that's what's cool about him. He's kind of just figured it all out. I guess I took Bubba, 30-1 just because I don't know, man. Like sometimes he just shows up with that. Like last week, he just races up through the field to start the race. All of a sudden, you look up and he's in 3rd place, and you're like, "Holy shit, he's fast again!" And then I have it stuck in my head, and probably a little biased because I had the ticket last year of the big Indy Oval race where he was fast all day and ends up on the right strategy, winning at the end. So I think that's stuck in my head too. But yeah, great team there. They're going to be a lot of fun to watch, especially since and I'm glad Nick brought it up. Herbst has been fast, and when Heim comes up and he races, they've been fast. All 2311's been fast, so it's been cool to see. I feel like rarely a team that has a 3rd car and then even brings in a 4th car are they all fast and competitive, and this team has been. So it's cool to see.
Riley Herbst kind of won me over a little bit on Door Bumper Clear this week. I don't know if anybody heard that, but he was on there with Bubba, and I never really heard him long form interview type of deal, and just seems like a great attitude for the hand he has been dealt. So
he should do more of them because I agree with
should.
you. I was like, dude, this guy is awesome.
He's able to take some ribbing.
Yeah.
Well, my NASCAR listening will start tomorrow, so I'll have to add that into the rotation. It's kind of an odd segue, like doing that with 2311, and then you head into this Front Row Motorsports Ford team, which is kind of on a different trajectory, I guess, if your name's not Zane Smith. So, yeah, I don't know. I guess here, Phil, I'm going to stick with you. let's see what you got for front row here, Ford team, and then we'll go around the board here.
Yeah, Zane Smith and the defense rest, Your Honor. I mean, there's not much I can make a case for the other guys week in and week out. Even if they've got good stats at Pocono, I'm just taking Zane every time until he gives me a reason not to. He looked awesome last week. Like I know what happened at the end, or to end his race, but he just was so impressive to get to that point. So yeah, we're rolling with his team this week.
Yeah, I've seen some silly season stuff floating around today too of him, people just speculating, nothing in concrete or anything like that at all or close to it, but of him maybe, I don't know, moving up in the world, but yeah, I guess you never know until you get there. I'll stick with Zane too. I'll just go with it here. I didn't have much to say because it's not like the other teams or 2311 or anyone else where we can pull out a billion stats of why we like this guy. So I'll just stick with everything Greg and I put into the simulations, and we have him beating Gilliland 65.3% of the time and have him beating Gregson 62.6% of the time. So if he's winning the majority of the time against his teammates after all the hard work we've done, I'm just going to stick with it here and stick with Zane because, I mean, you don't even need the numbers to just watch the race and say, oh, yeah, that guy's running better than his teammates right now. So give me Zane Smith here. Tina, I'll kick it to you.
Iowa says he should have been the top forward last week. Agree with that. And if that is really telling, because you got guys like Busher, who was supposed to be fast, really wasn't. Blaney, not really at that track, but ultimately, has a lot of speed wherever we go. And the fact that Zane Smith is continuing to outperform those guys is impressive. He is the pick, but not for me this week. I'm going Noah Gragson in this one. Here's why. I might seem crazy, but the 4-car, or Noah, I should say specifically, has better finishes than both of his two teammates at Pocono in all except one race at this specific racetrack. It's just by one position over Zane Smith in the last one because he finished 24th to 25th, and their 22nd, 23rd place finishes that I'm also looking at for him. But that's what is going to win this group. Now, when Zane Smith is, inside the top 15, in the top 10, showing speed but doesn't finish the race, ultimately, obviously, blown tire, can't do anything about that last week in Michigan, but I'm kind of hoping to get a little lucky here and find any type of position that I can to be better and improve on the points we have for this game here. So I think this could be one of them.
Hey, you're starting out with a couple pivots here. I like it. Nick, what do you have here for FRM?
Yeah, I mean, I did think about Noah here in this spot, but ultimately I decided to go Zane. Look, if you look at the last 2 years of Pocono, again, flag, speed, whatever you want to call it, it went Zane, Noah, Todd, 2024. And no, they were on different teams, right? Spire, Stuart Haas, and Front Row Motorsports, but you get the idea. And then last year when they're all Front Row Motorsports, Zane, Noah, Todd. If we look at Indy, Zane, Todd, Noah. So Zane's leading Pocono and Indy, which I guess is kind of the best comp. I like using Michigan a little bit just from the horsepower aspect and the recency aspect. So I have to go Zane Smith here. So right now, three of us are tied up, and Tino's gone completely the other way. One thing I did want to say about Tyler Reddick, he could points race here. I know you mentioned the Bubba points racing. Tyler could points race too, just to pad that lead or at least keep that lead, especially if he knows Denny's going to get 15 win points. He may as well get 20 stage points.
Yep, that's a good point. And all right, so we leave FRM. We head to a Chevy team. Now we're going to talk about some guys who might be able to win this race again. And I'm glad that you mentioned, using Michigan, just the horsepower, the recency. I kind of like pulling up an 8-race sample set, the last 3 Pocono races. Then I pulled up like 1.5s or longer this year, and just to see, how people are running in this track, this package. Like it's not the added, 750 horsepower, nothing like that. So when things are as similar as they can be at this point in the season, I'll lead this one off here, and then that gives you guys, an opportunity maybe to pivot if you wanted to. I'm going with Chase Elliott here. In that sample set, there were, 2 guys that approached what I would call like the 2 most elite guys. Hamlin and Reddick are kind of like an island on their own when we're talking average running position in that 8-race sample set. And then just beyond them, Chase Elliott and Kyle Larson, both on this HMS team we're talking about now. They're actually the only 4 guys that have an average running position in that 8-race sample set inside the top 10. So all of them are great. With Elliott, what I saw at Pocono, just it kind of doesn't matter where he starts. It's like classic Chase Elliott. He finds a way to get a finish. He's got top 10s in all 4 Gen 7 Pocono races. And in those races, he started 3rd, 35th, 11th, 18th. Doesn't matter where he starts. He just finds his way with a top 10 finish by the end of the race. And then you get to this year. I mean, he is freaking fast on this race type this year. 2nd at Vegas, 8th at Kansas, wins Texas. Charlotte didn't go his way. One of the best cars we just saw at Michigan till he wrecked, running up front with Chris Bell. So, yeah, I don't know, man. Like, it's weird you get to this year, and, like, I feel like Larson's been a layup, last year in the draft for a lot of the tracks. But Chase Elliott, man, it was like Larson and Byron last year with a sprinkle of Chase Elliott now and then. And I think now, like, Chase Elliott's the man, and you sprinkle Byron and Larson in when you want to be different or something. But, yeah, give me Chase Elliott here. Nick, I'll just kick it right back to you. What do you got here?
Well, I guess we're on the same page because I am also Chase Elliott here. The last 2 Pocono races, again, I like looking at the last 2 because it's where the Fords, where the Toyotas introduced a new body. Of course, Chevy has a new body this year, and it looks like Chase Elliott is performing the best in the new Chevy body on the intermediate package, as you mentioned. But also the last 2 years, he's been the best Hendrick driver at Pocono in speed. 3rd in 2024, 6th in 2025. His nearest teammates were 9th and 11th, so 6 and 5 spots worse than him at Pocono in speed each of the last 2 years. So give me the fast driver, Chase Elliott.
Awesome. Tino, what do you have here for HMS?
Well, I'm not being different anymore. Chase Elliott for me. And one thing that I wanted to mention when we were doing a little bit of the Michigan recap is the fact that I've totally now learned. It's been a good chunk of the first part of the season. I was keeping the door open for Byron to have a run, get back on track, Larson to show up at tracks like Charlotte, Michigan, where we expect him, or at least I expected him to be better than Chase Elliott. He's just not. Chase Elliott is the best car in that camp, and until proven otherwise, this is my, kind of how we talk about Zane Smith with his teammates, although I went differently this week. I need to see that the 5 car can beat the 9, because right now, it's not happening. So give me Chase Elliott this week. I feel good about his chances to win this race as well.
Phil, what do you got here?
You got to get the brooms out, boys, because it's an Elliott sweep, and you kind of just segued into that for me, Tino. I mean, you guys made a lot of good points about Chase. I took him at 12-1 to win this race. I think that's crazy value for Chase Elliott. Win the race would agree with that on the Sims, and I don't understand it. So when I'm taking him to win the race, I got to have him as my Hendrick pick. And you guys made all the great points. I mean, the thing I'll just kind of highlight again, maybe in a different way, is just at Pocono in the next gen car, not even including his fake win. 2nd in average finish, and right behind Hamlin in all the stats that I'm looking at, driver rating 2nd. Him and Hamlin are the only 2 guys with over 100 average driver rating. He's not just some schlub overall at Pocono. I don't know why I said it that way. And then you look at last weekend, very fast. And I was on Larson from the Chevy camp last weekend, and I'm looking at this wow, this is a problem. The 9 car is a problem for me when I was watching it on the app. So, yeah, this is definitely the pick for me.
Oh, yeah, he was definitely fast. I like how you keep throwing in. You just keep throwing, these little jabs, fake win, fake win, fake win.
Well, dude, I hope he hears me. I hope he hears me because, you look at it, he needs to get one here in Pocono. That would be, I'm not counting that.
Yeah, I know you're not. All right, let's go to JGR here. Toyota team. Now we're going to talk. I don't know. I mean, this is a team where you guys wouldn't surprise me at all if you took any 4 of these drivers. So, Nick, I'm going to let you lead this one off. A team, where we got a bunch of guys who can win this race. Where are you headed here for JGR?
Yeah, this one's tough from a strategy standpoint, just because we see how dominant Denny is everywhere. Ty Gibbs can pop in any given week. Chase Briscoe's in a points battle, and Christopher Bell is good everywhere except he's dealing with an injury. So, obviously we're glad he can race this weekend, but how is that going to impact him? So for me, given the point situation and given how fast he was here last year and given how fast the 19 car was 2 years ago in Martin Truex Jr., I'm going to go with Chase Briscoe. Look, the 19 car is top 6 in flags each of the last 2 years. So, it doesn't matter if it's Martin Truex Jr. It doesn't matter if it's Chase Briscoe. That car is fast. Chase Briscoe's in a points battle. He could be points racing. He could be staying out during these stages and getting a nice floor of points here.
Awesome. I love it. Tino, kick it to you. What do you got here?
Well, I do want to mention one comment here from our boy Marcus, who predicts that Christopher Bell will win at Pocono with a fractured wrist. I would love to see it happen. You know, it's a shame that it's seeming like due to get a win, and then the more bad luck continues. Big Ross brings up a good point. Couldn't this finally snap what was going wrong for him and ultimately bring it back? This is a tough one for me. I'm not gonna lie. I'm pivoting live on the spot. Had a master plan. I'm not going to stick with it because now I see the writing on the wall and I don't want to be too different. So I'm going to go with Chase Briscoe here as well. Kind of conforming. I will reveal my plan at the end and then you all laugh at me because it was so crazy and I'm glad I'm not going to do it. But Chase Briscoe, everything that Nick mentioned was great. The other thing too is not only did he not have the best car in Michigan it looked like, but he was still able to finish inside the top 10 after grinding it out and getting past all the attrition and everything like that. So to me, not only with him winning this race last year is big, but just being able to have a good spot, knowing that you can make it off of speed. Didn't have the best long runs, like we said, Ryan. Obviously, cautions came into play, but knowing that long run speed is possible once the race continues forward at a long, straightaway track like this, I think is big.
All right, cool. I think I'm going to pivot on the spot now too. This will be my pivot point in the draft, and I'll go ahead and take Denny Hamlin here. And I mean, listen, I think we all know he's probably the obvious bonus pick this week. Pretty much every goddamn week now with Denny. But I'll pull up one chart here. So in that 8-race sample I was talking about, just like the 5 tracks, 1.5 miles or longer this year, plus the last 3 Pocono races, I just thought it was pretty funny. Like, there's Denny. He's got 7 top 3s in those 8 races. The next best guy has 2. So it's not even close. So it doesn't even make sense here. He's just on a whole other planet. I was taking him no matter what. The way the draft is going now, I just kind of have to switch it up a little bit here. And I'm going to take Denny now instead of later. And then I'll think about what I want to do in the bonus slot. I have a guy written down here that I think I'm going to stick with. But we'll go with this. Kind of really puts the pressure on Phil now, too, to see what you want to do. Phil?
Yeah, a little bit of pressure. I was kind of prepared for it, though. I had 2 names written down. I have a bet on Chase Briscoe in a head-to-head matchup this week, but I was fully prepared to pivot after I saw the tweet today that Christopher Bell's got a fractured wrist, and he's playing anyway. Just going after my own heart. That's hockey player blood right there. All right, so as you know, that's right in my wheelhouse. And I'm shocked that out of all the guys, it's Christopher Bell. He looks like a 12-year-old, but he's going to be able to pull that off. And you think back, like, remember when Brad Keselowski won Pocono with like a broken ankle in that Red Zapple Ale car? Like, it's amazing what these guys can do. So I'm not being shook at all. I kind of agree with Big Ross. Like, maybe this is what you need. It'd be a hell of a story. And Christopher Bell's no slouch. I mean, 10.3 average finish is 3rd in NASCAR at Pocono in the next gen car. So yeah, he doesn't have like a million stats for me to rip off to be like, this is perfect, but I could make a case against the other 3. And I don't want to do that because I honestly feel like they're all really solid. So for the game that we're playing here, I'm taking Bell, and we're gonna roll with this one. And yeah, McNabb from Vegas, I assume he's talking about. Hell of a situation there. And Christopher Bell, one of us has to hit on Bell at some point, right? So I think I like, after snapping his wrist, I'll jump on that and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, dude, this would be the ultimate spot for him to just stick it to us, because all those bets we've had on him where he should have or could have won the race recently, and then now if he goes out and does it with a broken wrist, and I'm not afraid to admit it, put it in Discord, maybe people bet it with me, maybe they didn't, but it felt bad doing it. But I'm really high on Briscoe as well, and just like Tino and Nick, I took Briscoe over Bell this week. I really like Briscoe here, and if Bell's got to go out again, maybe it doesn't matter, maybe it does. Got to go out a little earlier in qualifying. Briscoe's going out late. Maybe he can get some good track position. We all know Briscoe can qualify like a madman as well. So and obviously won the race here last year, so they can bring a fast car. Yeah, I don't know. I liked that head to head though, just given all the circumstances. Even though I kind of felt like a dirtbag, like targeting a guy with a broken wrist, but I don't know. Sorry, so trying to get those 4 units back I lost last week. So
Yeah.
by any means necessary. All right, let's move on to Team Penske. Another team here, I think, has been pretty underwhelming on this track type this year. I'll just start it out here. I don't have really much to say. I'm going with Ryan Blaney. I did the race preview with Eric Estep this morning, and I did mention a couple things about Austin Cindric in there. I think Cindric, he won his last Xfinity race here at Pocono. And was always running top 5 leading laps, and then he's improved every year at Pocono as well. So that was one thing I noticed with Cindric, and he's also running a lot better this year, I think, in this race type, like the 670 horsepower, like longer oval type tracks. I know Pocono is unique, but I don't know. Cindric's kind of showing me a little more this year. But I got to go with Blaney. Blaney's good at Pocono. Been a top 10 car every year. Even when 3 years ago he didn't finish top 10, but he ran over 50% of his laps inside the top 10 in that race. But he's got 3 straight top 10s on the 1.5 mile tracks or longer. 2 of them he wasn't really a top 10 car, but he found the finish. So give me Blaney here. We know he can bring speed kind of sometimes out of nowhere, but I'll take Blaney. Phil, I'll jump back to you.
Yeah, I'm going Blaney. I have an outright on him to protect against my manufacturer play this week at 11-1 for Blaney. And the only thing I'll say to add to what you were just speaking on is, like, one of the metrics I was looking at was the big flats over the last 2 years. So Pocono and Indy together, total of 4 races. It's the only stat where I have someone beating Denny. His average finish is 3.5. He's got a first, a third, and a 7th. His 4 next gen races at Pocono, first 2, it's like a tale of 2 halves. The first 2 terrible finishes, the last 2 very good finishes. So Blaney got his first win here. I was up in Pocono for that weekend. It's where the shirt came from. Gotta rock Ryan Blaney this weekend at Pocono.
Oh, that's where the Blaney shirt
That's
came
awesome.
from?
Yeah, wow.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's huge.
For the weekend of his first win.
Good to know. And Nick, you had one of the all-time Blaney call-outs, like Charlotte a couple years ago with the whole arrow talk on your pod. So Blaney's a big guy on this show tonight. Where are you going here, Nick?
Yeah, he was 30-1 to win the Coca-Cola 600. I mean, that's ridiculous for Ryan Blaney anywhere.
Yeah.
But man, this one's tough because I could legitimately see going with all 3 drivers here. Blaney, just from the speed aspect, he's been faster than Logano and Cindric. Logano and Cindric are in points battles, and Logano was faster in 2024. Cindric was faster in 2025. I honestly don't know which way to go. I'm just going to go with the speed aspect and take Ryan Blaney. I know it's boring, but it's kind of the safe thing. It's kind of, he's the best Penske driver right now, and it's not really close. So I'm just going to go with the driver that's been the fastest each of the last 2 years at this track and the best Penske driver on the team.
Awesome. Tino, what do you have here?
All right, well, our boy Sean McBride's in the chat. And one thing he said as we started Penske was, we feel like suckers maybe for not taking Logs last week. His guy, the 22, who, hey, had a decent run, was there at the end. Happy to see that. Doesn't matter. Still going Ryan Blaney this weekend. And Brian with just an all-time roast. Just log off, Sean. Hey, no. Stay locked in. Stay logged on. Maybe we'll be back for the bonus. He's not. He won't. But the one things I wanted to say about Blaney was, I think he has a great shot to win this weekend. 3rd in this race last year. Ultimately, he's going to have to get past the Toyotas, get past Denny Hamlin to do so. But he did that when he did win here recently. And then the other thing for him was the paint scheme's awesome. The Ryan Newman tribute, just throwing that out there. If that's going to add any speed, it'll be very awesome to see that car in victory lane. So Ryan Blaney, Logano hopefully keeps up the speed for our boy who thinks that's 4 misses. So we'll see who's right, but I think it's Blaney.
Yeah, I was just looking. I was going to, if this uploads quickly, I was going to just put the car here. So, boom.
If anything, he's going to be a pain in the ass to pass this week. Anything like Newman.
All right, awesome. We're gonna stick then with
that rocks.
Yeah, it's a great looking car. I thought Bubba's looks very nice this week too. All right, RFK, another Ford team here. another team where like a lot of weeks, I feel like we could pick all three guys. Phil, I'm going to let you start this one out here with RFK. Where are you going?
I love it. I'm taking Chris Buescher this week, and I really think that Buescher, it's kind of lame because I talked about him a lot last week going into Michigan, and he really didn't look phenomenal. Obviously ended up with a decent enough car and finish, but I think a top 10 for Buescher is well within expectation, and I have him in a head-to-head matchup on DraftKings versus Sean McBride's boy Joey Logano, and you're getting like minus 120, where the Sims just think that is laughable. So Chris Buescher, I mean, I guess I should give you some stats on him since I'm taking him, but he's, I guess my stats are more geared to the head-to-head, but he's someone that will be floating around that top 10 at this type of racetrack. It's just, he got his first win, rain shortened at Pocono. Not that that matters much to us today, but just the big flats, he's serviceable. 3-1 against Logano, if anybody cares about, but Buescher's where I'm going this week. I just, for the other two, looking at Keselowski and Preece, I know you can make a case for them, but it just feels like Buescher is head and shoulders above those guys right now as a whole. So I'm anxious to see if you guys want to go down that path, and if so, why?
I bet the Buescher top 10 already this week, so I'm on that with you. The only like race this year on a 1.5 or larger that he didn't finish top 10 was Charlotte. I mean, even these issues that the guys are talking about in the chat right now, like the hood pin issue last week, he still fought his way back. Still lost his head-to-head for me against Blaney by 1 spot, which was a killer. But I got to go with Chris Buescher here myself. Just been very strong. I think his like finishes at Pocono are kind of like his career with RFK. Like, I feel like he's just getting stronger and stronger. He finished 18th, then 11th, then 4th. Like, he just very strong right now. And I really liked what I saw last week, like fighting through issues, coming back through the field, finding a way to get that top 10 again. So give me Chris Buescher. Tino, I'll jump to you.
Yeah, Chris Buescher for me as well. Can't be different here. I know there has been times where Brad and Preece have been better, but never when I've picked them. So it's always been Buescher for me, and I don't want to get caught in thinking otherwise. Finished 4th year last year, so like you said, Ryan, keeps getting better at this track specifically. And the other thing you mentioned too, kept fighting. Big Ross mentioned in the chat, I thought it's good to note, had a hood pin issue, went down pit road, and pretty much every pit that they had last week was fixing something, making repairs, and he ultimately still was able to battle back, and doing so in a car that's obviously lacking speed. Not just RFK, but the Fords. We know the Fords are off. Like, Ryan Blaney's the only anomaly, if you will, but it's Blaney, Buescher, Zane Smith right now that are really carrying the Ford camp. So interested to see if the other guys can clean it up, because it's like Brad was in 2 wrecks last week, Preece in 1 as well, and maybe they weren't their fault, but it's still like you got to be around it to be in it, if you want to say. And I just feel like Buescher's just the only guy out of this camp that's been keeping it clean and finishing inside the top 10 consistently.
Yeah, those guys have had like some Chris Bell type luck lately. There's for a while there where I feel like they were always finishing in the low teens together, just like 11th, 13th,
Right.
14th or whatever. And then now like only one guy's surviving even.
Mm-hmm.
So Nick, where are you going here for RFK?
Yeah, this isn't the slam dunk y'all are making it out to be. This is Brad Keselowski all the way. It's
nice.
Honestly, I prefer Brad Keselowski to Chris Buescher straight up. And you add in the points racing aspect. Look, 2024, Chris Buescher was the guy points racing. And he got 48 points. Brad got 28. Last year, it was, I should say last year it was Buescher points racing. Brad was way out of it, so he was going for the win. But 2 years ago, it was Brad who, kind of points racing. He had a win in the bag, but he got 41 and Buescher got 26. So in the net 2 races, Buescher only has 5 more points than Brad Keselowski. If we look at flags, 2nd and 6th for Buescher, but 3rd and 4th for Keselowski. So a 3.5 average for Keselowski versus a 4 average for Buescher. I prefer Keselowski. Look, Jeremy Bullen's strategy man, right? We're always seeing Brad Keselowski do some weird strategy stuff. Jeremy Bullens is always willing to roll the dice, and I think in this case they're going to be rolling the dice for points because Brad is right on that points bubble. So given the speed, that Brad Keselowski has had a little bit of an edge over Buescher the last 2 years, just a little. And the points between them over the last 2 years are the littlest edge to Buescher. I love being the pivot here and going Brad Keselowski. FanDuel had him 75-1 to win when they opened him. I bet that instantly. And he's in the 40s right now at some books. I love that price.
Yeah, that is awesome. Awesome stuff. I guess that's a good segue, the strategy thing, as we head into Chevy Team Spire, where we saw Suarez get the win a couple weeks ago based on strategy. But that team's been fast. Suarez and Hocevar are fast cars, which is kind of exciting. You finished that one off there, Nick. I'm going to let you just roll right into this and give us your Spire pick.
Danny boy, let's go. Daniel Suarez. This is a great track for Daniel Suarez. Last year in terms of Trackhouse, he was the fastest driver at Pocono, faster than Ross Chastain, faster than SVG. We saw in his JGR days, man, he was putting up some finishes here. He had a runner-up finish at Pocono. So I think this is a great Daniel Suarez track. We just saw how well he did at Michigan this past weekend. We also saw how well Hocevar did. But I think, just when you kind of adjust for the fact that Suarez has performed really well at Pocono, almost independent of which team he is driven for, this has been a very Daniel Suarez track. So give me Daniel Suarez here at Pocono.
Awesome. Love it. Tino, we'll just go across the board here. What do you have?
All right, well, the doctor is in the show tonight, and he's prescribing me some Amigo as well. Give me Danny in this one, Danny Suarez, and I do believe Hocevar has a good chance in this one, but he also pissed a lot of people off last week, and maybe they're coming for him, and maybe that tunnel turn's a good opportunity to put him in a bad spot. We'll see. Now, I do like it was a tough one for me because I wanted to take the both of them. My master plan was this originally: go with Daniel Suarez for Spire, take Hocevar for the bonus, but I just can't trust him as much as I need to compared to who I'm probably going to be taking in the bonus in just a little bit. The last thing I want to say, a third place finish with Trackhouse just a few years ago, 2022 here. So to me, I mean, given the speed he has right now, he also has Chase's number one in terms of average finish and throughout these season thus far for Chevy. Second place is Daniel Suarez. I mean, let's go for him. He's really proving himself this year. I feel like this is actually like a career year for him to show, hey, yeah, Trackhouse, considering their speed or lack thereof, this was a move that he needed to make. And I think he'll get a strong run continuously. If he can start in the top 10, I think he'll be there all week long, or all race long rather, because that's what happened at Michigan. Stayed there, started there, stayed there. And I thought that was very impressive.
Yeah, he I think it was on like when Netflix first debuted the NASCAR show, and they would interview him, or you'd hear him in the car sometimes when he was at Trackhouse, and just how frustrated he was with what he was given compared to kind of what his teammates have been given, and thought that maybe he deserved a little more love or a little more speed in a car. And it's cool to see him get a fast car again now. He's been like on some really slow teams, when he's bounced around, like going from JGR to where he went, and now finally it seems like he's back on a fast team again. So been cool to see. Phil, what do you have here?
Well, I'm going to go with Carson Hocevar, and I love the case that you guys are making for Suarez. This is not me talking down on Suarez at all. I just love the fact that they're both good. Like, they're both fast. That is so cool. Just high-level NASCAR fan standpoint. For the draft, though, I'm going to go with Hocevar. I just really feel like he's picking up momentum, and getting that win earlier is just like really unleashed the beast a little bit. So I have a couple things. One, he doesn't have a lot of stats to pull from. Suarez, a lot of history there, so good call outs for those stats. Only 2 Pocono starts, both finished top 20, nothing to write home about. But the point that I wanted to make was, when you look at the big flats, the last 4 races, his average running position is where I like to really focus for Hocevar, because of how crazy his races sometimes end up. And it's the exact way you want it to go. It is 19.6, 19.3, 10.2, 9.28. Like, exactly what you want to see as a race car driver, like as you're progressing and maturing. So there's that. And I mentioned the word maturing kind of as a joke. But you made the point, like, imagine being Hocevar and getting some payback in the tunnel turn. I don't want to open up another can of worms here, but like if you're someone who feels slighted by Hocevar, why would you go on the offensive and wreck him? Because now he's just not going to take it easy on you. Like he'll shove it into a spot where it's not supposed to be in the future. Whereas now you saw what he did with Bubba. Like he let off. He doesn't want to offend guys. He's crazy, but he doesn't want to do that. And if, name a name, if Blaney goes and like takes him out or whatever, he's not going to give Blaney any space in the future because, screw him in Hocevar's like mind, I guess. So I'm just trying to put myself in his head. So if I was Bubba or any of these guys talking shit, I wouldn't mess with them. I would just try to avoid them and pass them clean. So Hocevar is the pick, but love this team right now.
Awesome. Yeah, I guess we'll be split here. But again, not that I don't like Daniel Suarez. I thought it was obviously, one of these two guys. I'll go with Hocevar. You mentioned the average running position. I think it's because, this kid can qualify. I mean, they bring fast cars and he qualifies up front. So his average running position is going to be up there until something bad happens to him. He's qualified 6th at Kansas, won the pole at Texas, 2nd at Michigan most recently. And then we come to a place where he qualified 3rd here last year. So, and I think he went out early. So maybe that was wind dated or whatever we want to say it was, but dude can qualify. He shows up fast, runs up front. I think the difference this year is he is getting more finishes up front than he has in the past. So like you said, that maturity, even if it's not like, I don't know, a mental maturity, I don't know him, so I can't really say that, but a race maturity, like being on the track, knowing what to do, what not to do. I think we are seeing some of that, even if some of his moves are questionable at best at times. But yeah, give me Carson Hocevar here. Again, loved what you said about them being competitive. Absolutely love them being competitive. It's awesome. I hope they're both running top 10 again this week. So give me Hocevar here. And you've had some interesting segues this show because now we go to Trackhouse. So we go from one team where we're glad we're competitive, and then we go to another team where it's like, man, will any of these three be competitive? I'm going to start out here because I really don't have, I've been on team fade Ross Chastain all year, matchups, anything I can get my hands on. Even here, picking SVG some of the weeks. It's worked out sometimes, it hasn't others. This week, though, I am going back to Ross. So it doesn't feel great, but, at the only like 1.5 tracks or longer this year that SVG had good finishes at were Texas or Charlotte. So it took some chaos. The only one Connor Zilich had a good finish at was Texas. So it took some chaos. It takes mayhem with them where like Chastain does have some top 20 finishes without the mayhem this year. And I guess I'm just rooting for no more mayhem. I don't want to see another race with 27% of the race ran under caution. So I'm hoping for a good one here. I guess I'll just take Ross Chastain here. And again, I do not have any great stats to back this up if we're looking at recent speed. Interested to hear what you got to say, Nick. I'll kick it to you here.
Yeah, I mean, I think Ross is the obvious choice. I'm half a mind to go Connor Zilich, honestly, just because of how good he was at Pocono and Indy in the Xfinity series. But of course, the Xfinity series, he was good everywhere. So I am going to go Ross Chastain. Look, honestly, Pocono used to be a Ross Chastain track. If you remember back in the Ganassi days when he was with Ganassi, he was, they had the back-to-back Pocono races in the COVID where they were flipping the grid and all that. Ross was making some moves. He ended up having issues in both races, but man, that guy was making moves for Ganassi, leading laps at Pocono. So definitely a Ross Chastain track when I think of Pocono. And then obviously at the start in 2022, when he goes over to Trackhouse, he's performing well at Pocono again. So early Trackhouse era Ross Chastain, he had some wrecks and stuff at Pocono, but he performed well in speed. I'm just not sure where Zilich is at right now. I do kind of want to take him, honestly. And SVG has been improving, but I'm going to go Ross Chastain.
Yeah, I think you said it well there. Phil, we'll kick it to you. What do you got here?
I wanted to go Ross Chastain. I mean, I know Big Ross said it's SVG week. I just and looking at the next gen car, I was even blown away at how Ross has struggled a little bit at Pocono. Like, it's not even like the past conversations we've had where it's like he sucks this year. He hasn't been great at the next gen car, but this track with these two other guys in his team with so much inexperience, I just got to go with Ross and just cross my fingers and shut my eyes, like, and hope that he can pull it out, because it's kind of like a sneaky difficult track to hit on your first or, couple times here. I mean, SVG was like 31st last year. Zilich, I want him to do well, but every week it's struggle bus. So I don't see that happening for him at Pocono. So I just by de facto got to go with Ross.
Awesome. Pino, you have the opportunity to pivot and get a lucky Trackhouse pick that buries us all. What are you going with here?
Yeah. It could be that. It could be that. Or it could be the unlucky Trackhouse pick and be Connor Zilich that finishes last again, or SVG that only puts up 1 point like they did 2 weeks ago together. So it's Ross Chastain sweep, which is tough to see. I mean, it's been so hard because this should be a Ross Chastain opportunity, but so should have all the Nashville and Nover and all of the other tracks where like it should have been him. Doesn't matter.
Well, typically, like
yeah.
the other places where he goes like double duty or triple duty or something, like I think they kind of line the guys up for the tracks that they're typically good at, and like those are the ones where like, all right, maybe Ross is going to come this week.
At the very least, you could have the added reps to your point. Like, ran in the truck race, ran in the O'Reilly. Like, he has more laps. That could help from some sort of standpoint. But it hasn't. So, doesn't matter. We're all the same. But ultimately, for me, for one thing I want to say with Zilich is hopefully, it's going to be, he's in such a tough spot. Like, crashing out the way he did last weekend was brutal. It happened the week before. Now, like, we could possibly see him finishing last for the third or fourth week in a row, and that's just tough. I don't think it's going to happen, which makes me feel like he's due to get back on track here. But at the same time, Phil mentioned it. This is a hard track for every driver out there, even the veterans. For him to be a rookie coming into it, I just don't see that happening. Like, I hope he gets it back on track because he's had such bad luck. But at the same time, I can't bank on that happening. Same thing with SVG.
All right, perfect. All right, let's head to our bonus round. The bonus round proved to be very, very pivotal last week, where we take Hamlin in the bonus pick and you take Bell. That was your stance. I respect the bold choice there, Tino. It's great. But the way that it worked out, you're going to get to go last with your bonus pick tonight. So it might be uneventful, or maybe you'll shock the world here. We'll see what happens. Phil, you won, so you get your bonus pick first here. Where are you going this week?
You know it. It's Denny Hamlin. He's the guy. It's just truly generational run. Like the schedule is just mapping out perfectly. He's winning these races. He's looking up and he's seeing tracks that he on the stat sheet is killing it. First in average finish, first in driver rating, first in average running position, across the board at Pocono, across the board at the big flats. Even when you stretch it out with like mix in Michigan and Kansas involved, like he's still that guy. It's truly unreal. I can't fade him. Need to get the bonus points, and we'll see if he can go get it done again. I mean, I give a shout out to Big Ross because I was on the Denny top 5 train while it was still plus money, and then I made a comment like, "Oh, it's a little minus money," and Big Ross was like, "Nah, top 3," and I've been playing that, and now top 3 is minus 105. So, yeah. Denny's the pick, man. I can't wait to see what he does.
That 8 race sample that I brought up where he's got 7 top 3s in the 8 races. I mean, just kind of silly. When the next guy has 2, I mean, I don't know, man. You're just on a whole other level. At some point you got to say like, well, that's not really luck. Like he's just that good. Nick, I'll kick it to you. What do you got here for your bonus?
Yeah, I mean, I had a small little inkling to want to go absolutely wild, but I'm not going to do it. I'm going Denny Hamlin. Look, I think just like Tyler Reddick could points race, Denny Hamlin could points race in these stages if he wants to, because he's so fast. He can just drive back up through the field and win the race. Just for you there, win the race.
Nice.
And win the race while getting maximum stage points and get the win bonus. I mean, we might see the first sweep and win in the 15-point bonus win era. Denny Hamlin all the way.
Awesome. Yeah, I can't argue that. I mean, so I made my pivot live. When I wrote down all my notes today, my original JGR guy is who I'm going to go with here. And I was glad to see you two guys on it because Chase Briscoe will be my bonus pick here. My hope is that I guess now the way this sits is that Denny Hamlin will be chasing Briscoe all day. Well, pun there with chase as well. But yeah, I mean, Briscoe too. One thing I noticed, because now I'll scroll back up to some notes that I wrote down for him. You had mentioned how the 19 always showed up for Truex. That's one thing that I noticed when pulling up all the Pocono stats. So I love to see that, and then it just translates directly over to Briscoe, takes over and wins the race. I mentioned he's a great qualifier, so I do want him. You know, all 4 Gen 7 winners have started top 10, so I do want my guy to start up front. And it's been a weird, like, hit or miss pattern with him this year. Like, Vegas was just okay. Then he's great at Kansas. Texas was strong but didn't end well. Then he's great at Charlotte. Michigan was just okay. Can he be great? I hope so. So we'll see if this weird Briscoe pattern, he's kind of had like Christopher Bell bad luck, but in just like a slightly lighter manner, where he's not out there getting injured. So I think Briscoe's win is coming. So why not this week? So give me Briscoe here. Tino, you get to end it here. I think we know where you're going. You have like the most, intense bonus picks ever in draft history, but I don't know if we can go there this week. What are you doing?
Well, it won't be impressive, but we can make it intense if that's what the people want. The bonus bit is this. The storm is coming. We got to put our hard hats on here.
Oh, again.
Give me Denny Hamlin to win at Pocono. He's going to have 8 wins, most in history, already leading at this track with 7. But that's not
Did you see
all.
Reddick?
That's not all. Coming closer here.
Hamlin.
Oh, so insane.
He's racing in the Minions car. I don't know if you guys know Minions, but if he wins this week, I will talk in Minionese for everyone.
I can't
Yeah.
wait. Minionese.
With a 3 and 6-year-old, I know Minions all too well.
Yeah, I would love
As
to
soon
see
as
that.
I saw that car this morning, I showed my kids. I was like, check this out. Like, we have to get this car. And they loved it. Tino,
Wow.
how hot is it in that thing?
Yeah, it can't be comfy. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you, and it's supremely comfy. So I'm probably just going to keep it on forever.
All right, good. Great draft, guys. I like how we were different. I know we had some like live pivots here. Nick, I wanted to ask you. You said thought about going a little crazy with the bonus pick at the end. If you don't mind, who crossed your mind there for that pick to get a little wild?
The guy that crossed my mind is the guy that got the 3rd most points this past weekend at Michigan, Eric Jones.
Nice.
He was 7th in flags last year at Pocono. Teammate John Hunter Nemechek was 8th in flags. Those legacy cars had speed there. They just had speed at Michigan. Eric Jones finished 12th at Indy last year, right? Like, he's right on that points bubble as well. Like, he could be points racing. He's clawing his way into that. I think he's like 18th or 19th in points, not too far out. So had a little bit of an inkling there to go Eric Jones, but it wasn't enough to, go over Denny Hamlin.
Where did you? I don't know if you have it in front of you, so I want to put you on the spot. But if you had it handy, I was wondering where you had him in flags last week, because I had thought like his long run car, and I don't know how that translates over, in the flags for that particular race with all those cautions and everything. But I thought his long run car was like maybe the only one that could have kept up with Denny, given the right, if he didn't have to fight his way up to second place and then be 10 seconds behind. But
yeah, I wish I had run it. World Cup is tomorrow. I mean, less than 24 hours from now, right?
Yeah.
So 18 hours, 17 and a half hours, right? I'm counting down to the minute almost here until the World Cup, because that's what I got to do for my job. And it's been so intense. So I haven't run flags yet, but I'm sure he would be around the top 10. I honestly think John Hunter Nemechek will end up around the top 10 as well, because he got damage in the crash, and I have damage filter. I'm not sure if it would catch him in the damage filter or not, because I do it a statistical way instead of a manual way. So John Hunter Nemechek, like I said, he was running in the top 10 towards the end of the first stage or two, where he was before the Carson Hocevar wrecked everyone incident.
Yeah, really cool season this year, I think. Like, I've told everyone, I've had probably the most fun I've had in a long time watching NASCAR this year. It's been a lot of fun. Spire's competitive. Legacy's now running up there, like you're saying. Like, it's cool. We're seeing a lot of fast cars up there. And I think people like see what I tweet out or whatever. They're just like, man, you're always complaining, like blah, 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 blah. It's like, I just complain about cautions. That's really all I ever complain about is cautions. And so I'm sorry if that's annoying, but I am having fun watching the racing. I think it's been great, a great NASCAR season. And I'm really looking forward to the chase when we get to that point, especially now that it's kind of like tightening out. Like Reddick's still strong, but Hamlin's trying to catch him. Like that battle alone, owner versus employee is pretty freaking sweet. So I don't know. I'm excited for Pocono again this weekend. Nick,
My favorite
I can't
track.
think. Yeah, I was going to ask you too. Is that why you picked? I sent out the schedule. You picked Pocono. This is one of your favorites.
It's literally my favorite track in the Cup Series. I love it. I love the strategy. I love how wide it is, how big it is. It's wider than Indy in terms of like just space, even in the corners, right? You have a little more room to go 2 wide, and especially in turn 1, 3 wide, 4 wide.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's really just a neat track. It sucks a little bit what's happened in the past couple of years with the next gen car and it becoming really aero dependent at this track in particular. But when it races well at Pocono, it is an unbelievably good track.
Awesome. Well, let's hope that, the tires kind of do the same things they did last week and we can see some comers and goers. It should be an awesome weekend. Thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. Like you said, we've been waiting to do this a long time, so we got to talk some more NASCAR, as soon as possible here. Good luck to your Vegas Knights this weekend on Sunday night. So, yeah, between NASCAR, World Cup, hockey going on, big weekend ahead. Tino, I'll kick it to you real quick. Let everyone know where they can, find all your content this weekend.
Yes, sir. Well, appreciate everyone in the chat. I'm glad the comments were coming in. Shouting out Nick as well. Appreciate you coming on and getting the people going in the chat as you do. Coach Hal saying go Knights. Awesome to see. You guys can follow me at Tino PATTIGNO. I'll be on 2B TV NASCAR channel, Sirius XM NASCAR radio, giving my best bets on Friday morning. So be sure to check that out. And anything else, that comes up, I'll be sure to let you guys know. Maybe a pre-race show. We'll see. I was actually at Pocono last year. Not going to be there this time around, but one of my favorite tracks in terms of like how Nick mentioned, just the long straight, seeing it, being close by it. I mean, it might be closer to Watkins than Watkins Glen to me. So, that's where I'm at from a New York standpoint. But yeah, excited to see it. Excited to see the Reddick-Hamlin battle continue to progress throughout this season as well. I did not think when Tyler Reddick got up to a 200-point lead that anyone would cut it down at all, but this quickly, and then he's done it. So to see them go head-to-head is going to be awesome to see. So I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. Phil, can I listen to your show tomorrow? Did you put that out today?
It's out. Yep. You can listen to that.
Good. All right, good.
Full Tank with Phil podcast. Wherever you are listening to this. And trucks are off this week, so I'm taking a deserved rest there on the YouTube channel where we do the truck talk. But give that a look next week. We'll be, back full throttle for San Diego. But really appreciate everyone in the chat. Really appreciate Nick jumping on. This is really cool to be able to chop it up with you. I've seen everything you've been doing for so long, and this was really great that you jumped in with us. So thank you so much, and I hope everyone has a great Pocono weekend.
Thank all three of you very much. Thank you for everyone in the chat. Wintherace.info. Check it all out for all your data needs. Play the game with us. You can play the draft against us every single week on there. See what your score is. We got the standings on there. So come check it out and go on Action Pro. Sign up. Get Nick's flags. We check it every weekend. So do both. You can never have enough great info pouring into your brain when it comes to a race weekend. So really appreciate you guys. Thank you. Enjoy Pocono, and we'll catch you next week.